Yes, greetings in the best of salutations. That would be prayer, power, peace, patience, and prosperity. I will share something from a book that I had written called Mental Constellation: The Internal Struggle and Quest for Social Economic Change. And I will try to make it relevant of what's happening in my life as well as how it and something that's happening, I think, in conjunction with my experience in this realm of existence called reality. Chapter 2: Mental Fight Against Revealed. Now you can look at that opening to say mental fight against revealed, which means what are we fighting against? That which is to be revealed, or that which has been revealed, that which is right before our very own eyes, and that be our present existence. Papillon, I believe it was a movie, which in the French term means a butterfly. There was a statement that was made: a temptation resisted is a true measure of character. From the vault essays, thoughts, writings, extractions of expression by Reverend Walimu, Wasim, Kevin Patrick, Oloye, Huron, Chichiwa, Abi, Mischief, Calamity, Truth, and Justice series. It is better to sit alone than in the company of bad people. It is better still to sit with the good than alone. It is better to speak to a seeker of knowledge than to remain silent. But silence is better than idle words, presumptions. Better is expressed 4 times. It is said, if a person knows better, he or she will do better. So it is a relationship that is to be established first and foremost to get one's attention. Let's get to know each other and be better human beings by treating each other with respect. If not, you will be knotted up in bitterness. This is when a song or praise and worship come to help and assist with eliminating the relationship with bitterness. The state your quality and being are bitter. That also has to do with resentment, disappointments as well. So the relationships that we are establishing and learning how to be respectful or disrespectfully, a bitter person or a better person. This established relationship and behavior will protect and defend its position. Dr. Francis Quelch Welsing said that if a person who do not respect themselves would not defend themselves. Now we are getting into seeking after grounds of approval into a justification, which is also territorial stand your ground or stand one's ground, meaning no retreat or lose your advantage in the face of opposition, because people speak from their own advantage point. It is confrontational to know better and to be better. The bitterness is not knowing the how to. then what arises is the why should I and why can't I? Then that leads to accessibility, but before the accessibility there must first be acknowledgement, and then after that accessibility, then application. Have access to your better being by your bitter being. This accessibility comes out of necessity. Relationships are established out of necessity, yet the problem is one comes about to determine the status of that relationship will make one bitter or better controlling that relationship, preventing a person to be his or herself. If not, the relationship takes on imprisonment, and one seeks to free themselves from its imprisonment. That which is permitted to use is a deadly force of psychological incarceration and mental enslavement, which leads to hostile physical engagement. The root cause is due to circumstances, because circumstances makes us other than ourselves. Circumstance is the cause that produces a type of behavior. I revile you rather than revere you. Those who exceed their boundaries in religion will be exposed because of their intentions. Dr. Martin Luther King stated, "Nothing in all the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity." Religion is sincerity. Spirituality is organized religion. Ignorance is evil, or is ignorance bliss. Mental instability will increase into sexual aggression, which is a sign of a sadist dealing with a sadist, one who takes pleasure in inflicting harm, hurt, and pain on other people. A cruel person is a mean-spirited person. You will also come to know, as Muhammad Ali told Sunni Ali Hassan, that artificial politeness is like imitation jewelry. It is no good. Let's try to get a better comprehension of this by way of a term called fitna. If this ceases, there will be no aggression except against the oppressors and not against one another, because that which is oppressing is ignorance. Fight until there is no more fitna and until worship is acknowledged to be for Allah. But if they cease, then there is to be no aggression except against oppression, or that which is oppressing you or us. It's ignorance. To remove, to dilute, to weaken one's accountability. A force that is designed to weaken one's accountability rather than strengthen one's accountability. Ignorance is the result of hostility, if there is nothing else to be learned. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing speaks of what makes one obsessed with being aggressive is due to deep-seated feelings of inadequacy and insecurity. Then a person will try to make up for that some way, somehow, by being obsessed and excessiveness and with aggressiveness, and that is violence. Lead to violence. Yes. Fight them until there is no more fitna in the religion. All of it is for Allah, and if they cease, then indeed deeds repeat themselves, become habits. Allah is seeing what they do. Cease indeed, deeds repeat themselves, become habits. To fight against anything that is oppressing you, such as media, press, television, government, culture, economics, religion, and leadership, that keeps you in the dark, preventing you from reaching your full potential. This is ignorance. For this is the purpose of the true religion, that we become one in this fight, because it places a heavy burden on the people. They are heavily taxed. Many see themselves as a burden to each other rather than a responsibility. Humanity will come to a point that they want for themselves. They want for their brother, sister, family, humanity, living without fear of doubt, and want because they will have each other's humanity or best interest at heart. You do not fight to gain leadership. You fight until there is no more fitna, so there is no longer shirk. Doing things to be seen and refuse to accept correction. There is no more persecution among each other. This speaks specifically to Muslims, yet is applied to all humanity, that we not suffer from abandonment or abandon the fight against that which is ignorance. Ignorance is oppressing humanity. So we are oppressing each other with ignorance, being ignorant and acting ignorantly. Tawheed is to be practiced in sincerity towards Allah without shirk, all the while shunning all rivals who are being worshipped besides Allah. Note, the messenger was asked about a man who fights because he is courageous and prejudiced with his people. I like to say with his humanity, or to show off. With all these is for the cause of Allah. Whoever fights so that Allah's word is supreme is in the cause of Allah, the exalted and most honored. But if they cease from kufr as a result of your fighting, even though you do not know the true reason why they do so. Fighting to see your true self, fighting against your true self, the agony, the pain of birth, that when a child comes out from his or her mother's womb, is revealed, come out from through her, concealing one's true self, one's true identity, running away from self. When one seeks increase in wealth, that which is forbidden, he or she conceals his or her true self. For the betterment of humanity. When one seeks out notoriety, prestige, and power, any other external things, he or she is refusing to come to see his or her true self. Unwilling to acknowledge his or her true self when it comes to accepting the consequences of his or her actions. He or she will do his or her best to deny another to reveal and see his or her true self in his natural evolutionary process of his or her ability when it comes to accessibility and application. A seed is buried in the ground, cultivated, and will produce a crop. Because its purpose and its intentions is to reveal itself, come forth out of the earth, and yield its and reveal its true intentions. Beware of those who conceal their true intentions, because whatever it is and concealed in their heart, they will express themselves that is hostile and violent toward you. But yet, because that which has been buried in their heart has been planted by others who they too have been concealing what is in their hearts. And therefore, it breeds concealment in the hearts of others. So let us be mindful of this, that we do not dilute, strengthen, or weaken our accountability as well as our intellect. In the manner and the way and how we treat and interact and get along one with another. The call is to come back to one's true humanity. We must acknowledge and access and apply it. The day of reckoning for one's accomplishments, limitations, and failures will be revealed. Fighting to see one's true self, and do not be denied or deceived when one's true self is revealed, or if it is underdeveloped and uncultivated. Because that which is underdeveloped, uncultivated, unrefined, and untamed is a wild animal. That is one's emotions and urges, because the true enemy, the open enemy, is one is unable to control his or her instinct and his or her urges. The wilderness, unawareness, breeds ignorance. Unawareness of one's potential and able to access and apply that potential. So let us not be extremely ungrateful, because when you are extremely ungrateful, you don't recognize nor comprehend one's potential, and acknowledge, access, and apply that potential in the best of ways.